Good evening, sports fans, and welcome to the All Balls Sports Show. Brought to you in part by True Love's Pizza and Grits at 1144 Riverside Drive. A discussion of any and all sports, local, regional, and national. And now, here are your hosts, Dan James, Eddie Bobo, Ty Cobb, and the coach, Vance Ballou.
Thank you, Bill Jones. Welcome to the All the Ball Sports Show for this Tuesday evening, third day of April. Into spring already. Feels like it outside. In Columbia now, it's like 80 degrees out there. And thunderstorms are approaching, and, man, we need Lisa. The sky is falling pattern so bad on the weather, and we just don't have her anymore, Ty.
Yeah, I know. We need this warm weather to hang around through the weekend and
yeah, we do.
Through the Mid-State Classic, but weather is unpredictable this time of year.
Well, let's talk about the Mid-State Classic, get things kind of kicked off.
Can I have that ticket?
It's not a ticket.
Because tickets are gone. They've gone fast.
No. They've got 100 left.
That's what you think.
No. I talked to Mac. A little earlier, and he said they had 100 tickets left.
Well, how do you know I didn't buy those 100 tickets that were left?
This is not a ticket. This isn't a ticket. This is a card. A card. But anyway, this is coming up next Tuesday, and we're hoping for good weather, man. At 1 o'clock, we have Columbia State Community College taking on Volunteer State Community College. And at 6 o'clock, University of Tennessee facing off against the University of Memphis. And I have never seen anyone more excited than this guy right here, Ty Cobb, that the University of Memphis softball team is coming in here. And they're coming in for business.
They are coming in for business. They have a impressive coach, Natalie Poole, and a good team this year.
Yeah.
But Karen and Ralph Weekly, of course, have a great program as well. And, I mean, we've got two great games. Don't forget Columbia State and Ball State. That's going to be a great game, too, seeing the Chargers play. And I'm excited about both of them. But you're right. Memphis is coming in here all business. This would be a big win for them if they could beat the Lady Vols. But I think it's going to be a great game, a battle.
Because they talked about by the time that this game came along in April, which will be next Tuesday, that there's a good possibility both will be in the top 5 at that time.
Wow, that's a big game. I can see why it's 3,400 tickets sold, and I think it'll be 3,400 people there.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it a bit. I know they still showed up last year, even though a lot of people still showed up, even though didn't wind up playing the game.
Yep.
They're just there to wanting to see them play and just wanting to see them, period.
I know Eddie and I sit there all day long, watch Bill Marvin and his crew work that field, and like finally said, all right, we're just going to have a bat around and knock some balls out of the park. But they did stick around, which is great. I mean, I'm glad that that UT stuck around. Lady Vols now we can call them again.
Yeah.
That's the only good thing that guy did when he was up there was get them back to Lady Vols.
But you're right. It's a great facility, Ridley Sports Complex,
Wow.
and it's something Columbia is proud of and can showcase. And anybody that plays ball there or visit there brags about how great a facility that is. So.
By the way, John Curry did pick up a temporary job starting in May. He's going to be at Columbia University teaching a class on sports management.
Okay.
Okay.
I could care less, but thank you, Jeff, for the update as to where John Curry's going to be.
But you know, Dan, the Mid-State Classic,
Be nice, Dan.
really, it's you talk about Mule Days,
Yeah.
it's a big event, but the Mid-State Classic has become a big thing around here. And credit to Mr. Tony Massey, our city manager, and Mac Reagan, who has helped kind of push that to the next level. Every year that we've had the Mid-State Classic since Mr. Massey's been here, it's gotten better and better.
And what you don't realize, and a lot of people don't talk about, because it's just something that happens, that Mac being the director of Parks and Recreation and Tony being the city manager, they work behind the scenes a lot that people don't know the kind of work that they do to put this thing on.
Year round. And it's planning by all department heads and staff, and Chip, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, from police and fire to Parks and Rec, I mean, all agencies are involved to make it a great event, and every year it gets bigger and better.
Yep.
Well, maybe this weather come through here tonight and this weekend a little bit. I know it's going to be a little chilly for Mule Day, but maybe things will turn around. And I know right now it shows it's going to be a little chilly there Tuesday, but maybe things turn around, bump that temperature up a little bit, and it'll definitely help things out.
Well, I don't mind 50, 55 degrees, even down to 45. But my God, last year was cold.
Oh yeah,
It
was cold, and we
was
still had
awful.
1,000 people out there.
Yeah, that was amazing.
absolutely.
To watch batting practice basically is what it was, and it was a fun time. I mean, everybody that was there had a good time.
Yeah, I can see down the road or envision game on TV. I can
Yeah.
also see maybe 3 big games, Memphis playing Ole Miss and UT playing Kentucky, or just those type caliber teams. I could see them playing each other because the Mid-State Classic is a big deal. And how many softball games in the NCAA are sold out with 3,500 people?
Well, I am honored to be the PA announcer for the Mid-State Classic. So that's what
I wouldn't expect anybody else, the voice of Murray County for the last 35, 40 years before I was even born.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I had to throw
Thank
that
you,
jab
Ty.
Well, I understand that.
But you do a great job.
Thanks.
Dan does a great job, and it's always good to hear his voice on the radio. So.
Yeah, he's all right when he's asleep,
He's all
I
right.
guess.
So if you want one of the remaining 100 tickets, the best thing you can do is call 388-8119, area code 931, and talk to the folks at Parks and Rec.
Between what hour?
That would be between 8 and 4.
Thank you.
So,
And we will have additional information on
Yeah.
Columbia 10 Facebook page, along with Murray County Now and ColumbiaTN.com. So we'd like to hopefully get some interviews and do some things up to game time, but there'll be a lot of build-up until the first pitch is thrown. But I think it's important not to forget the first game, Columbia State against Fall State. That's going to
Yeah,
be
because that's a rival.
a big game.
oh,
It's a
yeah.
rival game.
Yeah. Well, it's no more. I mean, it's
It's a Middle
as big
Tennessee
rival,
rival. Yeah.
and it's a bigger rival as Memphis and UT.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Memphis would love nothing more than to come in here and hand Ralph and Karen Weekly a loss, just to say we won the Mid-State Classic, and you didn't.
Well,
And Ty Cobb would love nothing more than to be able to hold it up and present it to Poole.
I was actually asked earlier last week,
Yeah.
and we've talked about this before, what colors I would be wearing, and I had mentioned that I would wear maybe a UT hat and a Memphis T-shirt.
Uh-huh.
Well, after further discussion, since I'm going to be working also,
Yep.
I will just be in my fire department uniform. So I won't be taking.
So you're
sides.
going to be taking a neutral
I'll be
approach to
neutral.
all this.
I'll be cheering for both teams.
Dress uniform
All right.
or
I'll be
Yeah.
in my
day?
day
yeah.
dress uniform.
I don't buy it. Something tells me there'll be another shirt on underneath that shirt somewhere.
You know me,
might.
too, don't you? But I'm looking forward to a great game. That's the main thing. So
That's going to be a lot of fun. And if you do not have your tickets, remember there's less than 100 available. So call 931-388-8119 first thing tomorrow morning and get your ticket for the Mid-State Classic. Otherwise, you're going to miss a great pair of games.
and also the Daily Herald does a great job in providing
Yes.
the game day program of the teams, and I know Maurice when he gets here can touch on that, and James Bennett and Keith Ponder have mentioned they're going to do that again this year. So look forward to seeing the teams. And I think they put that page of the team, and you can get that autograph. So a lot of our listeners might want to pick up a paper to find out more additional information about the game day.
The fun part about it is that when it comes down to the Mid-State Classic, everybody gets involved. Everybody stays involved all the way to the end, and it's a lot of fun.
Yep. I like the timing this year too.
Yes.
Moving the date to April.
Yeah.
I think it kind of, with a big week this week in Mule Day, and then you follow up with a big softball game between 4 great schools.
Do you think there might be some layover from Mule Day, folks sticking around for those?
I think there'll be people at the game because it's a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
But it just kind of, it's like a good finishing touch of like a 10-day stretch in Columbia with Mule Day and the Mid-State Classic, two of the biggest things that happened this year. So,
Yeah.
because it really is a big deal.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely good for the community, and
Sure.
restaurants, hotels, all that kind of good stuff.
It helps everything.
Yeah,
People running
absolutely.
for public office, you'll probably see a bunch of them next few days.
Surely
A lot of
not.
politicians.
Surely not.
This is a big election year. There'll be a lot of politicians. So.
Hey, got to give a shout out to my son's company, Janes Media, janesmedia.com. Got a great looking photograph. If you haven't seen it on Facebook, take a look at it, of Murray County Park that he shot from his drone, and it was really, really nice. And we're doing, of course, the Murray County Now from down at the parade routes. Your lovely bride and I will be there live with Facebook. And Kara's always she loves the Mule Day Parade. Absolutely, hands down, loves the Mule Day Parade. And I love having her as my co-host. Of course, I have Ty as my co-host for the Christmas Parade. But we'll be down there starting at 11 o'clock. Adam Southern, Daryl Alshey will be there with us.
Daryl.
We're going to have a good time. They're going to be they're our street reporters. Yeah.
Adam does a good job on the
Had
street.
his
I mean,
lovely daughter was with us this past
Who,
week.
Daryl?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Daryl.
Yeah.
He's my in-law.
okay, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I did.
But we'll have the broadcast of the parade starting at 11 o'clock. We'll be live. So Adam Southern will be there, and we're going to have I think we're going to have a host of a lot of folks coming by who are politicians, which is okay. That's fine. That's
good.
what this is all about. You know, Mule Day is a fun time for everybody. So if you're on the back of except for the ones who are drinking on the back of the horses, now forget that. We had that happen one year when I was in radio. Very embarrassing. That's just not a good thing. Never give a microphone to a drunken cowboy. But Miss Mule Day, Louise Mills, buddy of mine, publicity chairman for Maury County Bridle and Saddle Club, did want me to remind everybody that the Mule Day Parade is back in its regular location. It is not being moved this year, as their pamphlet says. That was something that was between State of Tennessee, City of Columbia, that they were going to do the streetscape deal on West 7th starting this year, and it was going to be changed. Those plans have fallen through. So the Mule Day Parade is back to its usual
Normal route.
which will take a hard left on the West 7th after it goes up Carmack Boulevard.
What was the deal? They had planned on just keep going straight.
Yeah.
Or?
Well, we had the West 7th project. It's kind of been delayed a little bit in partnership with TDOT and the state, and the timing just worked out where we continue down the normal route. And
Okay.
that's kind of what people expected. I mean,
Absolutely.
You know, they like the normal route the way it's always been. And actually, I went down West 7th Street yesterday, and there's cars already parked
Oh yeah.
in preparation for Saturday. So
And you know that on Friday night they'll have those chairs set up in front of Oaks and Nichols Funeral Home, and you better not touch those chairs. Now, you don't know whether somebody's watching those chairs or not, but I sat up across the street for many, many years on that porch over there, and I would watch those folks, and they watch those chairs. You don't mess with their chairs.
Well, I've been in many Mule Day parades from a long time, and I can tell you, it all comes down to the weather on the attendance.
Oh yeah.
I've been in some Mule Day parades. I think it was 2008, where we had some heavy rains that morning, and I mean it was like a ghost town during that parade. But if you have weather like you had today, you will have a huge crowd, and traffic will be slow moving around, and there'll be a lot of activity on West 7th with the Culleoka pancake breakfast. You've got poke home events with biscuits.
The Eastern Star has a country ham breakfast out at their building on Nashville Highway, or actually Theta Pike, off the Nashville Highway, that Tudor Fralix and I go to every Mule Day morning of the parade. And we've been doing that I bet we've been doing that 15 years. But that's just part of our routine, our ritual. So shout out to Tudor. Good evening.
And then West 7th Street has a lot of happy people during the parade. So it's a lot of activity.
And they have
Just
a lot
want people
of
to be safe.
the what is it, the Bloodies and Biscuits?
That's
they have
it,
over
Bloody
the,
and Biscuits at the Poke Home.
the Poke
It's
Home.
going on about the same time as the pancake supper pancake breakfast in the Memorial Building. But that is a well-attended event every year. I go, it's a line out the door down the sidewalk
It's almost like
between
Rotaries.
8 and 10.
Yeah, it's almost like Rotaries as far as popularity of it on
You
Sunday.
you Mike could be down there selling Mid-State Classic tickets. So.
You know what he's done. You know what he wants to do. He wants to buy out those 100 tickets and then stand out there and scalp them. That's exactly
that
what
right?
he wants to do.
Hey. There's nothing wrong with that, Dan.
No, nothing wrong with a little bit of making, making a little bit of money. This is the way that works.
I did buy my share though to give to some folks. So
Oh, okay, good.
I don't have any left in case anybody listening calls me tomorrow. I do not have any. Don't call me in the office asking for tickets.
Coming up on April 28th, we have the Dylan Rabior Golf Tournament from Stony Brook Golf Course, and that's why TJ Brown is here. Ladies and gentlemen, you're on camera, TJ, so wave at the camera. Just tell everybody, it's TJ.
Hello.
All
How
right,
is
so there you
everybody?
go. All right. But, and you can find him every day down at Chevy White's Autos on Carmack Boulevard.
Yes, sir.
Just, I'm home with
8:30 to 5:30.
Hey, I'm home with a shameless plug, Bubba, so that's, that's what it's all about.
That's a pretty Dan. That's a pretty tough corner there at 17th and Carmack because you've got Shelter Insurance right beside them.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The Heights.
Yep.
And you got TJ and Chevy and boy that corner.
Yeah, we got Adam Crowell down there next to us now doing mechanic work. He's doing well for himself. Glad to see that. Like Ty said, it can be a pretty tough corner right there.
Yeah. I pull in there every now and then with a flat or something. They take care of me. They do. Every time I've called, TJ and them have been there to help me. So
He will.
They help a lot of people in this community.
Oh, they
so.
do. They do.
Good friend.
We sure do the best we can do.
And between that and White Auto Salvage.
Well, it's called Bobby White
Is
Motors.
it Bobby White Motors?
And,
okay.
Bobby passed away about 2 years ago, and Chevy took that over, and he's done big things with it so far. Hopefully, continue to do big things with it. I know it's been a lot of hard work and blood, sweat, and tears, but he's fought through it, and he's really taken it to a different place than where Bobby had. Bobby was old school. And he just was basically
Bobby
word
was
of
old
mouth.
school to the point where if you walked in there and said, I need a door handle off a 64 Ford Fairlane, and he'd say, fourth row down on your right, third car on the left.
Yep. The man he definitely had an amazing mind.
He did.
To have as much as he did and to know exactly where things were at now. After a while, he did have himself a little camera system set up to where somebody come in his office, he could zoom right down on that car and say it's right there,
Yeah. But he knew every part that was off of that particular car he's going to send you
pretty
to.
much,
too.
yeah. He like I said, he had an amazing mind to know exactly. But sure miss Bobby. Wish he was still around, but really thought a lot of him. But definitely think a lot of Chevy, and I'm glad everything's working out for him there, and hopefully we'll just keep on keeping on.
And we'll bring this around to Chevy's also a big supporter of the golf tournament coming up on April 28th.
Absolutely. Always has been ever since we started, along with a lot of folks in this community. We have a lot of people to thank, and if it wasn't for people in the community coming out and sponsoring holes and doing things of that nature coming to play, it wouldn't be the event it is right now. Right now, I've been kind of crunching the numbers. We look to be on pace to possibly have 36 teams in it this year.
Wow.
And that being the case, I'm going to stress heavily that if anybody has their own cart, definitely let me know, and that way we can make room for some of these other folks.
But you got me a cart.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
But I wanted to make sure that we preface that by saying we will still accept you if you have your own cart.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Now the way that we had been saying it was, we're not trying to keep you away from this tournament, but if you have your own cart, please come.
Yeah, just bring in your own cart.
We just have to. We only have a limited number of carts that we can supply.
Yeah, I mean we could rent carts. Yeah. We try to stay away from that. It's a possibility that could happen this year. If need to be, I definitely don't like turning people away. I want everybody, generally 36 teams is about all you want, though. Yeah. I mean, that's two teams per hole. That makes for a pretty good day, and that makes for a pretty good tournament. And But like I said, and I want to thank Stuart and Drew Parker with Morgan and Stanley for coming on to be our title sponsor. They actually come on for us last year at the last minute, and we sure appreciate that. And they back with us again this year. Really looking forward to that. So.
And we have like a big TV we're going to.
Yes, we do have raffle tickets. They are $10 a piece, or you can get 5 for $40. And it's a 55-inch flat screen UHD TV donated by Chevy.
Similar to what you see in the background at All the Ball Sports Show.
Yes, absolutely. Like I said,
that size.
Yeah, that's a 55 right there.
And just to reiterate, once again, like I said, Chevy being involved, him and a good buddy of ours, Ed, actually donated the TV to us. So,
all right, cool.
So.
Well, let me ask you this: is Chevy the one that's got the golf cart that they crank up like Leonard Skinner down on hole 5 or 6? Just asking.
Well, to be honest with you, that. Yes,
or
that would
used
be. That used to be, but that cart now belongs to me.
Oh, okay.
Well, right. let me put it this way. It actually belongs to both of us. We're a little 50-50 on that right now. But,
okay. All right.
But yeah, my bunch tends to they trust me, my bunch comes out to a get together, and they tend to get a little happy, and they have a good time. And
I'm gonna tell you what,
we try to keep them as calm down as we can, but they definitely love to have a good time.
It is a very serious golf tournament, but let me stop it right there. We have a blast out there.
Oh yeah,
we have a good time.
Absolutely.
We play music. We do all that kind of good stuff.
That's what it's all about. You come out to have a good time, and it's definitely a donation to the scholarship fund and to help families out in the community. And this is our sixth
year.
Mm-hmm. So 6 years, and it's done nothing but grow bigger and bigger ever since we got it started. I know I start to stress out, as my wife likes to say, at this time of the year, and I start stressing her out, but it's just one of those
things.
And
what did I tell you a long time ago?
It all comes together, and it all just seems to come together at the last minute.
Yes, it does.
Just like anything does, but it still doesn't keep it from being stressful.
Because you got some great folks around you, brother.
I understand that, and I do appreciate everything from everybody that helps us out. Absolutely. Takes a lot of weight off my shoulders on some things. But, it's just one of those deals. When you're putting something on like that, you want everything to go as smoothly as possible. But everything's not going to be perfect. I've learned that.
I'm proud to know that I'm in charge of sound and food delivery. Two of the most important things. The golfers have got to be able to hear.
Absolutely.
And they've got to be fed.
Well, if they don't have that breakfast there first thing in the morning, they definitely get a little antsy. And then if that lunch ain't there when everybody's said and done, they definitely probably wouldn't have a happy face on her.
Oh, I know.
You put people in charge of things that they know about.
Well, yes, sir. Yes, sir. We try to keep we set it up to where the same people do the same thing every year, so we don't have to we don't have to direct people in too many places.
Well, you got Dan in charge of sound.
Yeah.
And food.
And food. Yeah. Yeah. Check, Maurice, check to see if your microphone's turned on. I don't hear. Yeah, you are, but it just doesn't sound like it's coming through. Try that second microphone.
Trying to tear anything
that's
up.
Much better.
There we go.
There we go.
Right.
There we go.
All right, cool.
So are you playing, Dan?
No.
Okay.
No. There's a reason.
You playing, Chip?
Nope. I'm helping Dan.
I'm playing.
Back years ago, Gene Dixon used to be the golf professional at Murfreesboro Golf and Country Club. And I went out and Gene, this was back in the days of the early videotape recorders.
We know how old you are.
No, this was the days of the big videotape recorders, and he set it up to where he would tape your golf swing and kind of give you instruction on what you were or were not doing correctly. And basically, Gene told me, he said, you might want to consider another hobby. And I said, okay, all right. But I give it a shot every now and then. You know, I have fun. That's what it's all about. But I used to play with a gentleman that would take it, and I will not use his name here because us being on the internet, it will go worldwide, and he knows who he is, and I will not put his name out there. But he was competitive at everything. I don't care whether it was cards. I don't care whether it was golf. I don't care whether it was dice, whatever. He caused me to quit playing golf because it no longer became fun because he wanted to compete.
I got you.
I mean, throw your clubs, or not clubs, but throw a club in the lake. I mean, come on, man. That's nuts.
Well,
36 teams, so
That's a lot of
that's going
teams.
to be a lot.
yeah, like I said, I feel like we're on track for that. Hopefully, we can make that happen. Like I said, just want to encourage everybody that has their own cart. If you do, please let me know. That would definitely help us out and help us get more people involved. And you know, but yeah, we're looking forward to it. Looking forward to having a good event as always. Hopefully the weather, the weather's kind of been just up and down with us this year a little bit.
So if let me ask you a question. Let me ask you this. This is TJ.
I can't wait.
If Ty Cobb brings a fire apparatus out
I've got a team.
Oh, okay.
I want. When I tell you who's on my team, we might not be the best, but we will be
Who's on your team?
most entertaining. Well, I've got to tell.
Well, they don't give a trophy for most entertaining.
Well, my team will be Pam Presnell,
What?
Marissa.
What?
Hold on, I'm not done. Let me tell my team.
No, you don't have to. You got a ringer in there already.
Marissa Toddy.
Oh,
and then
man.
Shannon Rippey. So
Okay.
we're gonna have an entertaining team,
Okay.
and I'm
know them well. They've played. They've actually played with Jessica and Marissa both in the past.
Yeah, they play
So-
for money, man. They play for
well,
blood.
I do like to win. I like to win.
Well, I will say
I
this
want winners
much
on
now.
my team.
I hate to throw Ty under the bus, but he did let me know yesterday that he didn't actually have any clubs. So I don't know if he's actually planning on playing or not.
No, seriously. Do you need clubs? I got a brand new set in here. If you want to break them in,
I might have to borrow them, but I think
I'm
they're going to
serious.
take care of me.
Well, if they
we'll
don't,
check.
I've got a set you can borrow.
Something tells me this is going to come down to Ty
I just don't.
making the putts.
Yeah, I don't know which way the ball's going to go when I hit it from.
Yeah, something
50
tells
yards
me
or
this
more,
is going to
so.
come down to Ty making all the putts.
That's funny.
I'm
Hey,
excited about it.
That's
though.
all right. Well, like
It's
I said,
going to be
man,
fun, man. It is
That's
great.
that's why they call it a 4-man scramble.
That's right. That's right. And the funniest group to watch, and I know that TJ's seen these guys, are the ones from the Gridiron and from Columbia Central football. They're the ones who are hilarious to watch.
Hope said he's going to play, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, he'll play. Oh, yeah.
You
Hope-
playing?
No.
You coming out? You going to try
Try
to
to
make?
get out there, yeah. Yeah, but no, I'm not playing.
I hadn't played in the past. This is my first year to play, so.
Also,
But I made sure to have a good team, so I've got a good team.
Apparently,
I was thanking Stuart Parker and them, but I also want to thank Parks Motor Sales
Yes.
for coming on to be our hole-in-one sponsor. Looking forward to that. And also, if you need to buy a vehicle, they are the place to go. Just
'Cause
bought
you
me
bought a truck?
brand new 2018
And we bought a
GMC Sierra.
Yeah.
So,
we bought a 2016
Yes,
Buick
sir.
Enclave.
Rogers. Rogers.
Yep.
Now,
Yeah,
now
real nice
Brian,
folks
Brian
and-
Cagle was my guy that I went out there.
Yeah.
I mean, even though I told Brian at the time, I said I will buy a vehicle from you, but I'm also going to buy one from Robert. So I bought them at the same time. So,
Yeah.
you know,
There you go.
kill two birds with one Buick.
Well, they're good people to work with.
They are.
They do
Great.
everything to help you out, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
if there's complications, they do everything in their power to make it right with you. And I'm very satisfied with my situation, and I do recommend that. To me, that's the place to go if you want to buy a vehicle.
All right, somebody wants to get a hold of you for sponsorship, either a sponsorship.
To do a whole sponsor
Yeah.
or just get involved in a golf tournament, they
Yeah.
can give me a call at 931-626-7995 or at 931-381-1363. That is the car lot. Chevy White Auto Sales where I work. So, or they can just come up there and see me. So, however it works.
Okay.
yeah, just like I said, we look forward to doing this. It's been a real good event ever since we started, and definitely helps the community out. And that's what we like about it big time. We definitely try to give back to the community that give to us. So we sure appreciate that. And also, I'd like to take the time to thank the Daily Herald and Mr. Maurice here for everything that they do for us. You know, if it hadn't have been for Mr. Will Hoyt and everything that they did at the time of Dylan's situation, I don't think we would have really seen anything that's going on right now. This definitely helped us strive to do these kind of things and keep the awareness out there, keep Dylan's name out there. You know, that's what makes us feel good about it.
The neat thing, I won't say neat thing, that's a wrong choice of words, but the interesting thing is that when Carol and I go to get door prizes, for the folks who have not lived in this town very long, they do know the story.
Yeah.
And they say, yes, we'll be involved with that. And it all goes back to having the tournament every year and reliving that piece of time, which was heartbreaking for you guys. But the fact that his memory lives on in this golf tournament, and the folks who are moving into this town, they know, they understand. You know, and when we explain it to them, they're like, yeah, we remember that, because they may have seen the piece on ESPN, or this usually plays every year around Christmas time, and it's a very moving story.
And you know, as far as I know, every candidate that we have give a scholarship to has went on to do very good things. So you know, that makes us very proud as well, you know, to know that we could help somebody out with their career and, you know, what they were striving to be. That's
I know
very
Mason
gratifying.
Job's doing his thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very fine young man. Yeah, very fine young man. Matter of fact, Heather's mother was in the hospital a couple weeks ago, and he was actually in the emergency room, kind of doing his internship there, whatever you want to call it, with clinicals. The EMS, clinicals. Yeah. And just a very fine young man. Just you know, he doesn't get excited. He doesn't. You know, he's on point, knows his job, knows what he needs to be doing, pays attention very well.
And one fine
to detail.
Football player.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. For sure.
Maurice Patton, what are you up to, my friend?
Just
living the dream?
Something like that. Something like that. Yeah. Sorry I'm late, but glad I could make it. So
we're glad you're here.
Well,
always glad you're here.
It's good to be here. Yeah.
I was going to do something tonight that was kind of.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I'm going to. I'm going to anoint you the official All the Ball Sports Show contributor.
Okay.
So there you go. Official.
I'm anointed.
It comes with a secret handshake and a Dakota ring.
Be sure you drink your Ovaltine. Okay. Got you. Nice.
All right, so Villanova last night beats Michigan. I mean, it looked like Michigan they came out hot, but then all of a sudden Villanova just kind of took the court.
You know, and Ty seeing this, he's talked about Villanova a little bit himself, and he's talked about basketball. You know, it's that live by the three, die by the three kind of thing. And the way they knocked down threes against Kansas on Saturday night. It was Kansas, right? Was it Kansas?
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
All right. It starts to run together after a while. You know, the way they knocked them down that night, you just didn't know if they were going to be able to come back out and replicate that last night. They did. And that kid off the bench.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
He lit it
He
up.
did.
That's a big-time performance.
Did he have
right
18 the first half?
16.
16, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, Maurice, what impressed me about Villanova is their second chances on after they shot the ball. They hustled towards the basket to get that rebound. I mean, I saw it just against Michigan last night. The way they get that second chance opportunity, they crash the boards.
They are just a great team. They play really well together. They share the ball so well. I mean, their ball movement, you know, is they don't care who gets the shot, and they're looking for the best shot, and whoever it is that gets it
Usually
they're
hits
fine
it.
with it. Yeah.
All right, let me throw this out since we're talking about that. If is this a team that has consistently played together for 4 years?
Yeah. They don't have a lot of one and done.
That's
what I mean.
Jay Wright doesn't
You
recruit
know, that's
one
the
and
big
dones.
that's the big controversy now. Do you go with the Calipari and Calipari style where you're doing the one and dones, or do you go to a Villanova style where you got your 4-year starters, or do you do like Coach K did and adopt the one and done?
You just win.
I think different things work for different people,
Yeah.
and whatever it is you're comfortable with. I think Jay Wright has shown that, you know, bringing guys in and hanging on to them for an extended period of time has worked for them. This is their second one in 3 years. Yeah, I don't know if it's working quite as well at Duke as they'd like to think it is. I mean, they've relative to where they had been, I don't know that the consistency is there. I mean, they're making runs, but they're not winning championships. So, you know, I don't know. And I just don't have enough of a feel really for college basketball to know if there is a one way. But going with guys and keeping them in there and running them through the program seems to be working for Villanova right now.
You know, that's where Loyola came from.
Right.
They had those guys, and they brought them up. He recruited specifically champions. I think seven guys on that Loyola team won
They state
high school
championships,
state
yeah.
championships.
And he started recruiting back in Chicago.
Yeah,
You know,
there's
and
some
got
players
people,
there.
Got some people to stay.
Yeah,
You do have to know how to win, like that champion. You just got to know. I mean, it's kind of like Alabama in football. They've been there, even when they're struggling. They know how to rebound and come back. So
and you know what
And it
you have
goes-
to do to win. I mean, not just in that 40 minutes, but off the floor, in practice, you know, getting yourself ready, that kind of thing. Jay Wright made an interesting comment about Jalen Brunson and what it was that made him so special. And he's talking about, you know, diet, hydration, goes to class, does his film work, works hard in practice, gets in the weight room. I mean, he wasn't just talking about what goes on the court. It was the holistic approach to it. And, you know, it pays off, obviously.
But 3 of those 4 teams know what the Final Four is about that were in the tournament.
Absolutely.
Now, going back to the team you followed all season with Rick Barnes, will the sports information people, or the ones who make out the top 25, be a little skeptical of Tennessee next year, because obviously they predicted they would be 13 or bottom feeders in the SEC, and that wasn't true?
That's a good question for Maurice, but I'll say this. I think Rick Barnes has got the respect that he didn't probably have last year
Right, I
at
agree with that,
Tennessee.
yeah.
He had it at Texas, but I think for Tennessee's program, they've got to have some consistent 20-plus wins in NCAA tournament bids before the program really gets the – wouldn't you say the foundation?
I think you're right. I think the foundation's kind of been set. I don't think Tennessee will sneak up on anybody next year. They won't be 13th.
But will
in the
they be
SEC.
overconfident going in?
No.
They're going to be a better team. Grant,
Rick
they're all
won't
gonna-
allow them
no.
to be overconfident. He'll take care of that single-handedly. I mean, I
Yeah.
think he walks
So
around
he'll
with
do it. He'll do a Nick Saban. I'll let you know how good you are.
Yeah, I think he walks around with a pen to pop any balloons that might be floating around over there. But yeah, I think he does a really good job keeping his kids grounded.
Yeah.
And I mean, you watched it. Ty, you're on Twitter. I mean, it's kind of fun to watch some of the in-game and post-game comments from people that follow Tennessee basketball. In fact, I shot something out one night. It'll be interesting to see what Rick finds to pick apart in this game.
Yeah.
I think maybe it was a South Carolina game when they played so well, you know, and he would still find something. It was usually Grant Williams or somebody that, you know.
Would he be one of those kind of coaches that after the loss from Loyola on the last second shot, that probably shouldn't have it shouldn't have gone in the way it looked.
But it shouldn't even have come down to that.
But what I'm saying. Would he go into the locker room and tell his players, "Hey, we shouldn't even been in that position to lose by a 3-pointer"?
I think it depends on the situation. I think in that specific situation, I don't know that he necessarily would have, because that's a season-ending situation. I think when you look at Tennessee's body of work from November to that Loyola loss, I think that team probably overachieved. And so I don't know that you necessarily want to hammer kids in that situation. Now, I could be wrong, because the next game I coach will be my first. But, I'm just not sure in that situation that it's the time to necessarily hammer somebody like that when they have accomplished what they had accomplished. Now, if that had been a regular season game, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think the
They had a great
situation
year.
kind of dictates.
Oh, and by the way, I want everybody
Great
to know that Sister Jean the other night did not leave early before that game was over. She was just getting in position to where she could greet her team after it was over with.
Oh,
That's all it was.
Okay,
It came
'cause-
out after that. They thought the camera guys put the camera on her, and they're rolling her out. It looks like they're rolling.
that's what I thought.
No, they were rolling her to the entrance of
Where they
were
would be
going
coming
direct-
off.
Exactly.
Okay, well, I appreciate you clearing that up,
Well,
because I
just-
thought she had.
wanted-
I thought
wanted to
Sister.
throw that out there. No,
that-
Sister
what-
Jean wasn't saying, "I've had enough of this. I'm out of here."
It was a great tournament, but I think we have to talk about the women's NCAA.
Oh wow!
And Notre Dame.
Woo!
Mississippi State. And,
Yeah.
and I was pulling for Mississippi State.
Oh,
It's been their
absolutely.
first national championship, big for the SEC. But just the way Notre Dame finished those last 2 games
Yeah.
with the last second shot.
With the same
and when you
girl.
beat UConn, you've earned it.
Yeah.
I mean, you have earned it.
Well, I mean,
So-
you had 2 overtime games in the
Yeah.
semifinals, and like you said, the same young lady that won it for Notre Dame in the semifinal wins it in the championship game.
Unbelievable.
And that shot she hit against Mississippi State, I don't
Unbelievable.
know how many times she hits that shot.
I don't
because-
either.
But
But-
you know
did-
it's got to be her spot.
But
Did
the
did the girl
defense-
get a hand on the ball? Did she even touch the ball? 'Cause
I don't
it-
think
it
she got a
almost looked
hand
like,
on it, but she had. I mean, you couldn't contest it
No.
any more
It
than
was-
she
no,
did.
it was-
I
Yeah.
mean,
So she-
I don't think you can fault her defensive effort on that
But
play.
for State to make it to the final the last 2 years and still not have a national championship, that's tough. That's a tough flight home, because coach's daughter was a senior, great 3-point shooter.
and they're
I-
up 5 inside of 2 minutes.
I know. That's
Now
just
that
unbelievable.
said, they did get fouled right out there in the middle of the floor
Yeah,
Yeah.
on that turnover.
that's right.
Yeah.
That would have been a layup. if
Yeah,
they wouldn't have called
so-
foul.
Then on the other hand, they missed free throws. When they
State missed some
could've-
free throws.
Could have
Yeah.
put it away, and the same thing in the Louisville game.
Yeah. Yeah.
They could have put it away, and they constantly let people get by them down in the
but the-
paint and down along.
Well,
the
but
baseline.
here's what that's about. I think sometimes they let people, or they weren't so focused necessarily on keeping people out of the paint, because you got 6'7" back there at the rim,
Yeah.
and that young lady.
Dominant.
Yeah.
But now Notre Dame, the reason they beat UConn is because they hit their free throws.
Right.
They were like 14 of 15 there.
And
in the
you know
stretch.
that Gino was going out of his mind because it's a free throw. Hit the free throw.
I think they
Free
just got beat.
Throw. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
just got beat.
And I think it speaks to, I think maybe there's a little bit more parity in women's basketball than people realize. It's, you hear about UConn, you see UConn, you see what they're doing. They're doing it in a conference where it's them and everybody else. And I'm not sure necessarily that when they get into a situation where it's, win or go home, they've not faced those situations over the course of the season. Somebody said, would they be able to do this in the SEC? And, with a South Carolina, with a Mississippi State, with some of the other teams, and notice who I didn't mention there. But, with the teams that are in the SEC these days, I'm just not sure that UConn would have the same level of success if they were playing in that league.
And speaking of that, how much longer is Phil Fulmer going to give the young lady at UT? I mean, this is the tough part about being an athletic director. He's going to have to make a decision on that program because.
Well, you thought the football coach
Yeah.
was a tough situation.
Yeah.
This one's probably tougher.
Well, it's tougher because of all of the intangibles involved. You know, I mean, Holly's replaced a legend. She's been there
Only
forever.
two coaches have coached Lady Ball basketball.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, there's a lot there. I mean,
It's-
all of the success that Tennessee women's basketball has had. Holly Warlick's been a part of it, and
Well, Maurice, that's where I want to ask you this. Don't you think it's kind of like Bear Bryant at Alabama?
Yeah.
It's Pat Summit at
oh, absolutely,
Tennessee.
yeah, and we've all heard the saying, you don't want to be the man after the man,
Don't want to be number 2.
or the woman after
That's
the woman
tough.
in this
No.
case, and it, you know, you're never going to measure up. Nothing's going to be good enough. You know, she's won 25 games 2 or 3 times since she's been there, but.
It worked out well for Bob Kessling, but that's the only one I can think of here lately.
Well, that one depends on who you ask, though, too.
That's true.
So-
That's true.
Well,
Yeah.
I know everybody's got to have their own way of doing things, but also don't you look at it as if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Well,
But
You know?
what's your definition of broke, though,
Well, I mean,
is
and then here's
where
the
that
thing.
comes in.
She's recruiting well, but they're not improving. Her kids are not getting better. And didn't we see the same thing with football? And by the way,
Yeah, but
Bear-
football we were declining.
Nick
Drastically.
Saban's press conferences are going to get a whole lot better because he's got an intern now that's going to
Uh-oh.
be feeding him quotes. And
We're not even going there tonight. We're not even getting on football. We're sticking with basketball and Mid-State Classic. We'll save that for the off season. It's going to be interesting.
brick by
I
brick.
mean, I think she might get a extension.
I don't know that she will get an extension, and I think
Would
this is
it
her
be-
last year.
Well, would it be if she gets an extension of 1 year?
I just don't know, but I think you might as well make a change if you're just going to do a 1-year contract. To me, that's like
But then
the edge of the rope, don't
now,
you?
Wait a minute. Hang on. Don't beat Mr. Dan down. I'm just saying, isn't that? Why not do a 1-year extension? All of a sudden, you're telling her, you're putting her on notice that you got 1 year to try to turn this thing around.
But then what does turning it around?
Look how that affects
and
recruiting.
Right.
I mean,
What are you telling recruits?
Yep.
yeah,
Well-
you got a 1-year coach.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, that's a thought,
I
but it's
I know.
it's a dicey.
One thing I
the
think-
whole situation is just really. It's a
Yeah.
tough. It's
Yeah.
a tough
I
situation.
think we're all 5 in agreement that this is going to be a very hot, tough topic on the Hill in Knoxville.
No question.
'Cause
Well, I'm sure it'll come down to a discussion between him and her, and I imagine he'll look at it as how she presents herself in that conversation and how she talks, and if she can convince him that she can, do certain things to turn the program around, if he'll give her a second chance and this and that. I mean, I would think as long as she's been there and as much as she's been a part of these things, that maybe she does deserve a chance to try to turn the program around and do certain things. Now, I do understand, when you're talking about recruits, and I'm not a basketball person. I don't keep up with basketball, but I do know if I was in that person's position, how I would want it to.
Well, her and Fulmer's got a long history.
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
but it's business.
We're
still
it's
it's coming
been
down.
down,
But
and it's
doesn't-
coming
but
down
It is
to the
business,
thing.
that's for sure.
But doesn't it all boil down to? I don't care which sport it is. I don't care whether it's baseball or whether it's softball or whether it's football or basketball. Consistency with the program.
Well, it's the Lady Vols have made the NCAA tournament every year since they've had a basketball team from Pat Summitt's first year. So that is a must. I mean, that's just what we expect going to make the NCAA tournament. But I think everybody sitting here is disappointed how quick they went out of the tournament.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think the loss in the second round, they had won like 57 straight NCAA tournament games on their home floor.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
think
right.
was
At
the
home
number.
we lost.
Yeah. So I think that's what
Just doesn't.
really stands out about the situation right there is they lost an
At
NCAA tournament game at home.
And as you posted today, changing bicycles for just a second, the 3 departures from Vanderbilt women's basketball.
From a 7-24 team
Yeah.
in a
That
coach's
was-
second year.
Dominant in the 90s under Coach
Yeah.
Foster.
Oh yeah.
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 Oh, yeah.
And you lost one of those 3 players that left was an all conference caliber player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so when you're looking at trying to get better from 7-24, that was one of the players, Kayla Overbeck, that you were kind of looking at to help you do that. And all of a sudden she's looking to go somewhere else. It's an interesting situation down there because, when Melanie Balcom left, they hired Stephanie White from the WNBA. And I don't think there's anybody that thought, I'm not so sure about this. I think everybody that follows women's basketball really loved that hire. Kind of thought David Williams and those guys that really kind of knocked it out of the ballpark there. The success, and as you said, the consistency, the trend has not been upward. It's been downward from what was a bad situation to start with. So you talk about hot spots, I'm not sure which seat is going to be warmer this year, Holly's or Steph's.
I just think back to my dad and I used to go watch Lady Vols play at Memorial, and those were sold out games when they played.
Oh, yeah.
The Commodores and Lady Vols played each other.
Honest
I mean,
to goodness,
you couldn't get a ticket for that, but you could get a ticket for the men's.
I am not lying.
I remember it.
I'm not lying when I tell you that this year I don't think I realized that Vanderbilt and UT women were playing in Nashville until the day of the game. And like you said, there's been games where the fire marshals were there.
Yeah.
You can't get in because every seat is taken and that kind of thing. I mean, those are 2 teams that were both top 25 programs, obviously. I mean, you know what UT's done, but Vanderbilt has done a lot in that sport, just not recently.
Yeah, Maurice, I tell you, I followed Vanderbilt basketball, Lady Commodores, because I don't know if you remember my cousin Deanne Bryan that went to Lincoln County. She played at Vanderbilt under Coach Foster, so blew her knee out her sophomore year. But that's my first cousin.
Deanne Bryan from
She
Sparta?
played at Giles County under Coach Mayfield.
Oh, okay.
So I mean,
Yeah.
I made a lot of games.
Yeah.
Back then, but I just remember Vanderbilt basketball was.
I saw his computer going. He was,
He'll
It
remember.
took me a minute.
it was in that file.
There's
I
been
remember
there's
Coach
been a lot of
Mayfield
names.
real well.
Billy Mayfield.
Oh yeah.
Billy
He's a Hall of
Mayfield,
Famer.
We were in a summer camp game, and he was coaching the boys at Giles County at the time. Kid made a mistake. He calls a timeout. He doesn't wait.
He could get on you.
And this young man was probably 6'4", 6'5", and Billy picked him up, talked to him all the way to the chair, and put him in the chair, and talked to him a little bit more.
Oh, those were the good old
Yeah,
days.
that was back in the days when you could do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
He sure talked to him because we could hear it in our huddle.
Hey,
So,
I've got
While
a,
he was
There
explaining
was some
things.
good
So
basketball.
you saw Sheila play then?
Oh
huh?
yeah, Too Tall Frost. I knew Sheila well. Hell yeah.
do have to give a program reminder. We will not be on next Tuesday because we will be out at Ridley Park doing our best impression of a PA announcer for the Mid-State Classic.
That should be fun. I
will
won't be
fun.
here.
You will not be here?
Yeah, I am. I've got a vacation.
No.
Go figure,
Well,
huh?
but at least tell them the Daily Herald's going to run a.
Oh yeah, we
Specialist.
will last year we did a nice little thing. Well, we thought it was nice.
I thought it was
anyway.
excellent.
Yeah.
We
It was
ran
excellent.
team photos of both Tennessee and Auburn, and I think a lot of folks that had those were able to use them as
They did.
autograph opportunities
Yep.
and that kind of thing. I actually got the emails from both Tennessee and Memphis today, their team photos. So we're gonna be doing that again and kind of figuring out what else we've got going on. But our new guy, Taylor Hodges, who
Yep.
you've probably seen that byline a time or two. He's been with us about a month. He'll be out there. I will be on a cruise ship somewhere between New Orleans and Mexico. So
Whoa.
Well,
Yeah.
congratulations on that.
well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's my first. Hey, ask me when I get back whether or not I really need to congratulate. This is my first one.
Well, do us a favor and come back.
You'll love it.
Now,
I have every intention.
are y'all stopping in Cancun or?
We're stopping in. Yeah.
I only asked this because I'm not.
Just-
I only asked this because
I've got a social chairman who handles all of that. But yeah,
Well, I
believe
was
we
going
are
to say
stopping in
I'm only
Cancun.
asking because I have noticed a few things going on down there in that area that
We might
don't
stay
look
on
too
the
good.
ship,
Well,
you know?
I don't know if I would blame you for that.
We will come find
But,
you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate
But,
that. Yeah, if you don't
but you
hear
need
from
to-
me by-
You pull out an all call, we'll be there, buddy.
All right.
I'll tell you.
Hey, I'm gonna try not to create any international incidences. How's that?
Oh, I've done
Maurice,
that before.
did you notice who Jeremy Pruitt hired as his assistant?
Who, the John Lilly guy?
John Lilly. You got to remember John Lilly. He spent a lot of time on our sidelines here at Central because he was recruiting Jackson.
Oh, okay. That
And
makes sense.
He got me in trouble one night.
John did?
Yep.
How did he get you in trouble?
He was on the concession side in about the 20-yard line. Of course, he had on the Georgia Red.
Mm-hmm.
We had a real fine official on the sidelines, if you know what I mean. We're down on the 10 going in. This guy's starting to holler back and hollering for me because I'm the get back coach. So he's hollering at me. And I looked down. He said, "Get the guy in red back." I said, "We wear purple. We don't have red." He said, I'm talking about the guy down there." And I looked down there, and Coach Lilly had stepped out and was looking. And I grabbed one of the ball boys and sent him down to tell Coach Lilly. And he came back up after that and apologized. And then the next year, he came to the Spring Hill game, and I said, "Coach, it's a real tight sideline up there."
It really is.
He
Yeah.
said, "Don't worry, I'll get behind the fence."
I'm interested in that hiring from the standpoint that Lilly is going to be Pruitt's liaison to the offense.
Yeah. He's translating what's going on in offense for him.
Yeah, and that's probably
And
the
that's-
translator. That's
I'm just
probably-
looking forward to basketball next year because I think we might have a rough first year under Coach Pruitt, but I'm got high expectations.
Well,
for
my
him.
understanding was from practice the other day, he was not very impressed.
Well, Mac Reagan and I had lunch today, and he kept reminding me of what the Tennessee football team's record would be this year. I disagree, and I'm not going to say tonight.
The
But
other thing, though, that Coach Pruitt's got to get used to is if the offense kicks your defense butt, they're both yours.
yeah,
Yeah.
So, you got to separate
Yeah,
yourself
you
a
got to
little
balance it a little bit. It's,
Yeah.
and that's going to be interesting for him, I
Yeah.
think. Which
It's
to
gonna
his
be tough
credit,
at
he
times.
admits.
bit. Right.
So I think they may be better. I'm not sure what my expectation is, but I think there's talent there.
I don't
I'm
think you
excited
can
to
get
s-
much worse.
Well,
Yeah, but
last
do you
year.
think the Tennessee base now is buying into a better team for next year already? Just simply because you've got an energetic young coach, you've got your
They'll buy
athletic
in, yeah.
director in place. Because, like we've said on this show several times over the last few weeks, ever since Phil Fulmer was announced as AD, it's kind of like they got a fire hose and hose down the entire UT
Everything just kind of
fan base.
Well, he brought the stability and got everything under control.
Well, you brought the stability to Tennessee football, but again, as we were discussing
Right.
earlier, he's not the football AD. He's the AD, and there's some other things that are going to have to be addressed up there at some point.
Yeah.
But I think the greatest concern was football, and I think people are satisfied that that's moving in the right direction.
Well, it definitely got extremely out of control with hirings and firings.
It was a slight
and,
understatement.
Yeah,
and
it was.
and
You said it nicely.
and I think at the same time, you know, we want to have great expectations for this season, but at the same time, it's a new coach. You got new recruits coming in. They're going to have some things. They're going to have some good games, and they're going to have some bad games. And I don't think we need to look for a championship season. No. But I do feel like that if you start to see progress, Butch Jones, I started to see a little progress, and then that progress went away because what I started to see is a lot of selfish players. Anytime you have selfish players on your team, you might as well forget it.
You quit seeing them bricks stacked, didn't you?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And on that note, we will remind you that April 28th is the Fight Like Dillon golf tournament at Stony Brook. Make sure you get in contact with T.J. Brown at Chevy White Autos. Just go by and see him. He's got forms. He's got all that kind of stuff up there. Coming up next Tuesday night, we have the Mid-State Classic. We will not be on the air here, but we'll have the Mid-State Classic from Ridley Park. Less than 100 tickets to go. Make sure you call tomorrow and get your tickets unless Ty Cobb has bought them all up.
What's that number? You got that number?
Yeah, I've got that number. That number is 931-388-8119.
And they will take credit cards. Is that correct?
And debit cards and the whole thing now.
Yeah.
So
$10 each.
Yep.
It's amazing what the Square do, huh?
It's wonderful. Yeah.
And I would go out on a limb. Again, I won't be here, but I would almost guarantee that you will have better weather next Tuesday than last year.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'll guarantee you that. And on that note, we are out of here.